All right, man. Oh, we got the second video of the day. Hold on, let me make sure is it recording? Oh yeah, it's recording. Let's go. Nice. So we got is there parity in the NBA now? If you don't know what parity means, I'm gonna school you real quick. The state or condition of being equals. Okay. So parity just means is the NBA equal? And we already know the answer to that. No, we got super teams here. No, we only got one super team in the league. And I'm gonna just call that the Brooklyn Nets. They're a super team. Can't deny it. You see on the screen right there, they got Kyrie Irving, KD, washed LaMarcus Aldridge, James Harden, and washed Blake Griffin. So let's see if the NBA still has parity. Because I ain't gonna lie, Blake Griffin, he can still hoop, but LaMarcus Aldridge, he's cooked. But Blake Griffin can still do some things, bro. And the fact that he just went to the Nets to get a free ring, that's tough. So, we just gonna see we just gonna watch this video, man. Mike and Kenny for real.
What's the word, y'all? Welcome back to the recap, kinda. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Did watch basketball
Loki
today,
turn it up.
but nothing is like really interesting to talk about. I mean, players or teams are still trying to make playoff pushes. Yes, there's some implications for the Pacers, the Celtics, the Raps, and the Bulls all losing today. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it was just a basketball. Devin Booker scored 45. Good game. I kind of want to talk about things outside of today's game. So if you're specifically here to hear me talk,
I think this is a couple days ago.
Today, I'm sorry, that's just not happening in today's video. Again, this has always been a place for me just talk basketball when I want to. Wasn't always just, hey, this is what happened today. So let's talk about some things because I'm a little bit late to the party. I feel like every NBA YouTuber out there has already made a video or talked about the Brooklyn Nets getting LaMarcus Aldridge, getting Blake.
Man,
just continue to pile on these names.
Oh my god. So like for real?
Video, is there parity still in the NBA? Or something along those lines. I just had a long trip from Indianapolis to Chicago where we drove it 3 hours. And these are the type of things that was on my mind because I was trying to answer my own question, is there parity in the NBA? Because we've went through these stretches in recent NBA history where there wasn't really, right? We knew in the Eastern Conference, if LeBron James was on any team, we knew that team was probably going to the finals, and he did that for, 8 straight seasons? Like, every single year, we knew it was going to be LeBron versus blank. And then
LeBron versus whoever.
Warriors, especially after the Kevin Durant thing, that we knew that the Warriors were going to dominate the league, and as long as they were healthy, they were going to get a championship. So parity wasn't really real there.
Every year.
It's still fun. As an NBA fan, I can say I still love watching LeBron James dominate the Eastern Conference. I still enjoyed watching playoff games, even though at the end of the day, I know that KD, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green was just way too much for any team to handle in a 7-game series. And then
exactly.
And then KD gets injured in the finals. Of course, he leaves. He goes to Brooklyn to team up with Kyrie Irving, right? And this time, last season, we believed that there was parity in the NBA. It seemed like a lot of teams had big twos. You had Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. You had AD, LeBron. You had Kevin.
And the thing is, bro, I don't see why we're not giving. I understand it, bro, but instead of giving KD heat, you know what I'm saying? We shouldn't give KD heat anymore. He left Golden State. He wanted to go to Brooklyn and win. You know what I'm saying? If y'all are mad at the Heat for doing what they're doing, you got to direct your heat to James Harden. Even though I'm just saying, like, he probably deserves it out of, I don't know, I guess the rest of the guys that went and joined the super team. You know what I'm saying? Not created, but joined. I guess KD's the only one that fits that category in the past decade, but damn. I guess. But you gotta direct your heat to James Harden because he popped this whole thing off, man. When James Harden joined the Nets, that's what triggered guys like Blake Griffin, guys like LaMarcus Aldridge to want to join them too. You know what I'm saying? You got to direct it towards him. He really did it, but people are not gonna do that.
And Kyrie Irving, eventually, it seems like there are a lot of teams with 2 stars instead of big threes, instead of super teams. And unfortunately for us, the season got cut short.
And people gonna say, no, he got traded there, bro. He got traded there. He didn't go there. Nah. Even stars as big as James Harden, even though they still, they get traded and whatever, they can't really choose what team they go to. They have a very high influence. He wanted to go to the Nets. They told him He went to the office and said, "Yo, give me to the Nets. I want to go to the Nets. I want to be traded. Here's the teams I would like to go to." The Nets was probably the top choice, and then probably the Sixers after, maybe the Heat. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely was an Eastern Conference team. He was definitely trying to get out the West. He was definitely trying to get out the West. But you know what I'm saying? You definitely gotta. But even though if he did go to Sixers or the Heat, it still would have been a big three. It still would have been a big three. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere he goes, it would have been a big three. So
I think that a lot of
you
us
really
look at
got
the
to
Lakers
direct it
as
towards
probably
James
the
Harden, bro.
favorite to win last year's championship when it was halted, but nobody was like, we know for sure the Lakers are the best team in LA. You know what I'm saying? You can have all of the opinions you wanted, but there is still a conversation on which team in LA was the best team in LA until the Clippers fell, right? So there was parity in the NBA. We watched every single game in that bubble, every single game in that playoff bubble, not really knowing. We saw people picking the Clippers to win a championship even after the bubble. People were really afraid of the Lakers because if you remember in those regular season games in the bubble, the Lakers could not shoot the ball whatsoever. And people were like, oh, snap. I specifically remember some of the talking heads on TV talking about, are the Lakers going to get out of the first round because Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers are on fire and
Oh
nobody's
my
hitting the shot on
god.
the Lakers. So again, the Lakers getting that
He said
championship
what?
on fire and nobody's hitting the shot on the Lakers. So again, the Lakers getting that championship wasn't a guarantee.
It wasn't.
And now we go into this season, and I would argue that, like, if you watch my video from a few months ago before the season
People
started,
thought we was
I
a
made an
first round
argument
out.
that we were talking about pure talent and parity. This season was going to be amazing because now we got KD and Kyrie. We still have all these dynamic duos across the league, and there was a chance that we were going to see a playoff or championship matchup that nobody expected, right? Then the James Harden trade happens.
Yep,
And now
telling
like,
you.
oh, parity is starting to fade away. And then
After that
LeBron
loss,
signs in the
after
buyout
James
market.
Harden lost to
And now
LeBron,
LeBron
that's
signs
it.
in the buyout market.
Not gonna be able to beat the Lakers.
Question: does parity still
Not on
exist in the
Houston.
NBA, or the Brooklyn Nets that good? I'm gonna be the bearer of bad news to y'all. LaMarcus Aldridge signed into the Brooklyn Nets probably doesn't matter as much as you want it to matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't
LaMarcus Aldridge is
matter.
very far from a very good NBA player anymore. Sure, he
He's
can
washed.
provide some offensive firepower.
He can score. He can get some boards. You know what I'm saying? But he's not gonna really. He's not gonna push the needle. You know what I'm saying? Not that the needle needs any more pushing than it already does. I'm just saying he's not going to push a needle that far.
Power, and I think in his press conference, he was like, "I'm going to provide defensive versatility," and I'm like, when have you ever done that? Why at 36 are we saying that's what we're doing? You know what I'm saying? So, yes, he probably will have some playoff moments here and there.
Well, he's 36.
Signing into the Brooklyn Nets ain't that big of a deal just because he doesn't really raise the ceiling too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, him going to the Miami Heat significantly helps the Miami Heat more than him going to the Brooklyn Nets. Does that make sense?
But he wanted that ring. He wanted that ring. It doesn't matter to him. He wanted that ring.
Didn't really improve the team as much as people wanted it to, you know? And of course, some of the smaller market teams.
It's not about how you fit on the team to the market. You know what I'm saying? 36. You want that guaranteed ring. I feel him. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't get that, at least he got something now.
And they're trying to figure out a way to change the buyout market because at the end of the day, when we see players get bought out, players of LaMarcus's caliber, of Blake Griffin's caliber, they're typically going to go to the best teams in the league, right?
Yeah.
You don't see somebody going to the buyout market and signing with these Charlotte Hornets who've been really good recently, but they don't go there because these are players, and this is going to transition to my second topic here, who want to win championships. Blake Griffin has never won a championship, and I remember before he signed with the Brooklyn Nets, we talked about it on this channel as well, of Blake Griffin being in that channel of players that is so good but probably might not be a Hall of Famer at the end of the day unless he plays a big-time role on a championship quality team. He gets bought out. He goes to a championship quality team. And if they win a championship and he has big-time moments, he'll probably be a Hall of Famer. LaMarcus Aldridge, another player that has been significant in the past 10, 15 years of him being in the NBA. He gets a championship under his belt, lock him into the Hall of Fame. And then we get to something else that happened in the NBA world, and that was Russell Westbrook going off for 34, 20, and 15, something like that, a crazy stat line where Bradley Beal was out with an injury. They went against the Pacers, and Russell Westbrook looked incredible. Even if it comes to a show, good game, Russell Westbrook, but none of that matters because you don't have a championship. But these are the
That's crazy.
the TV, the talking heads, the NBA Twitter, they get mad when LaMarcus and Blake Griffin and all of these players team up to get that championship, but will talk bad on a guy, Russell Westbrook, for not having that.
I don't like that. I don't like that. You got to keep the same energy, bro. Because we wouldn't want Russell Westbrook to go and join a team like the Clippers or something. We wouldn't want that. You know what I'm saying? But if he does now, you can't say nothing because what you just said, like, okay, it's that don't matter because he doesn't have a championship. You know what I'm saying? What do you want these NBA players to do, man? I don't know.
He didn't take the shortcut. And you know what? I'm not saying that these players, Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, shouldn't take the shortcut because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me whether you have a ring on your resume or you don't. But you can't. There's like this double standard, or like what do you expect? Now, if Russell Westbrook was to go to a team, he was like, you know what? I'm requesting a trade to Brooklyn now. Does his games matter more if he gets a championship with Brooklyn, Stephen A? You know what I'm saying? Can we not enjoy historic nights on players that don't have championships? If Chris Paul had a 28 assist game, is Stephen A. Smith going to go onto TV and say, good game, CP? That time you were in the conference finals and you didn't pull it out.
Right.
Why can't we just enjoy basketball? And this is not a shot at Stephen A. Smith because I am a fan of Stephen A. Smith. I think he's one of the most
Rings are rings, bro. It's what every NBA player, team, whatever they work to.
It can be fun, right? But it's not just him.
It's what every NBA franchise wants. The goal of every NBA season, win that championship. The ultimate goal.
Gets a little bit of feedback, a positive feedback in the world. People are like, but what about that game 6? Where they had the lead against the Warriors and they choked it away. Russell Westbrook dribbled off his own leg and then Steph Curry hit a 3. Bro, it was 7 years ago. Get over it. Like, why can't we just enjoy the players, bro? Russell Westbrook is not going to be in this league for 10 more years being great. You going to regret you not being impressed by the 34, 20, and 15 game. I feel like I've been rambling. And that's basically what this channel has been the entire existence, right? But of course, there is value in championships. I'm not saying that a player shouldn't go out and get championships, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't make or break whether you enjoy a performance. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't watch that Russell Westbrook game live. I was in Indianapolis at the March Madness Houston versus Oregon State game. And I just saw on Twitter that he had 20 assists with 7 minutes left. And I tweeted, Russell Westbrook did what? And what did I do? I went back to rewatch that game, and I realized how incredible of a game it was. But nah, he ain't got no championship. So this random regular season game, it's just not impressive. It's just a weird way to think about the game of basketball. Because I honestly believe if you think that way, you're not enjoying basketball for what it is. You just aren't. You can have the best performance. Devin Booker just scored 45 against my favorite team tonight, dominating us. We had no answer. Imagine watching that game, but like, well, he still ain't got a playoff appearance yet, so who cares about right? Isn't that just stupid? So getting back to the original topic, talking about parity, talking about things like this. This also goes to
if you think about it, yeah.
Things that were on my mind in NBA Twitter over the last couple of days. I even tweeted NBA Twitter has been weird, and people thought I was talking about something completely different. I don't know what's really going on. When I talk about NBA Twitter, I'm talking about like on the highest level, because Kevin Durant was in the news a few times this week about some things. And for everything.
Yeah, he was in the news about some things. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I read them DMs. He sent to Michael, whatever his name is. I never seen KD that angry, bro. That man must have been steaming hot, man. Man wanted to fight right then and there, bro. I ain't gonna lie. He wanted to fight.
People on Twitter,
talking about some pull up in a dark alley. Yeah.
But he doesn't care at the same time. You know what
I'm saying? He cares.
Of course, it means something to him that some people go out there and talk bad about his name, as it should, across all platforms. I mean, yes, you're one of the best of all time, so you probably shouldn't care about some random people on Twitter, but he does. But one thing he doesn't care enough about is your opinion to stop his team from being great. If Kevin Durant told the people at the Brooklyn Nets, nah, I don't really think we need the James Harden trade. You trying to tell me that they wouldn't have, you know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant was like, yeah, bring James in. Oh, yeah, bring Blake in. Yes, bring LaMarcus in. Bring everybody in because I want to win more championships. And if you're one of those people that believe that Kevin Durant didn't have a say in the James Harden trade, didn't have a say in Blake Griffin signing, you are crazy. The
He did.
Bulls called Zach LaVine up. They had meetings for weeks about Vucevic. So you trying to tell me the top 3 player in the league right now don't have any say of his team's movements? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. So he cares enough to maybe reply on Twitter, but he doesn't care enough to prevent him from still playing on his stacked team. You get what I'm saying? It's just so crazy.
Right.
Durant's one of those interesting dudes I would love to just talk to one day. But I want to ask you.
That's crazy. Yeah, he probably wasn't that meeting like, yeah, bring him in. What you talking about? He probably wasn't in your meeting like hella excited. I could feel you. Yeah. But it's just James Harden, man. He had to just go do that, bro. Go request that trade. But it is what it is. You get traded, man. You can't really choose at the end of the day where you get traded. It's all about the packaging and the deals and all that, but still, you have a very high influence of where you want to get traded to. Yeah, he wanted to go to Brooklyn. So,
you guys a question about Parity.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Or the Brooklyn that's just that talented that we know that they're coming out of the East, and we know that they will win a championship as long as they are healthy. Because even today, right? Today, I forget. So today they have a game. And through this game, they were struggling for a bit. They were going against the Houston Rockets, who went on a 20-game losing streak, had a couple wins here and there, got some younger pieces. The Houston Rockets had the game for a majority of it. Even James Harden goes down with an injury again. Like James Harden, Kevin Durant not there, but Kyrie is, and Kyrie got these boys a victory.
Yep.
They can take turns. Kevin Durant can play every third game. James Harden can play every third game. Kyrie Irving can play every third game,
and they will still win.
Come together. And they probably win the championship. You know what I'm saying? And if you believe that parity does not exist in the league right now,
I ain't gonna lie. My last video, guys.
That parity doesn't matter.
Gotta plug it up.
I'm still watching basketball every single day. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to an old head. I know that has negative connotation, but I promise you I mean it in the most sincere way. When I say old head, I mean a guy that was around watching prime Michael Jordan. And we were talking because he doesn't watch basketball anymore. He doesn't watch the NBA anymore. He transitioned to be a college basketball fan. And he was basically saying the lack of loyalty is the reason why he doesn't enjoy NBA basketball anymore. And you know what? I completely understand if that
franchises aren't loyal to their players. That's it.
To watch basketball.
You gotta look at the guys like DeMar DeRozan, guys like Isaiah Thomas. They wasn't loyal until their team they just traded them. You know what I'm saying? The Celtics traded IT for Kyrie, who only stayed for 2 years and dipped. Now they got nothing out that trade. They could have just kept IT and just kept moving forward and building off of there, but no, they really saw a chance to upgrade and they took it. Forget loyalty. You want to upgrade, it's there. You gotta take that. So it's really loyalty is limited within the league, bro. It's not really about the players. You got to put the franchises in there too because they can be unloyal at times too. You know what I'm saying? So if the franchises are not loyal, so why should the players be loyal? There's players around the league that are seeing this happen. They're seeing these trades from these guys that stayed loyal to their franchise for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? DeMar DeRozan with the Raptors and all that. It happens, bro. It happens, you know what I'm saying? This loyalty doesn't really exist. Who's to say if the Trailblazers keep losing in the future, if they lose, you know what I'm saying? Maybe about in 4 more years, maybe they want to rebuild. Maybe they ship Dame off for a big, young package. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? They could do that because at the end of the day, it's business. Oh my God. My PC died on me. So we gotta hurry up and get this video out the way. We gotta hurry up and get this video. What I was saying, send Dame off for a big package. At the end of the day, it's business. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Loyalty to an organization. I understand you sticking to college at the end of the day. But for me, I think loyalty matters to a certain extent, right?
A certain extent.
I can imagine a player being loyal to an organization that hasn't put them in the right position to reach that ultimate goal. Damian Lillard is about as loyal as it gets. And the Portland Trailblazers are trying to do everything to get him that championship. At the end of the day, he might be one of those players to never have a championship, ever. That doesn't make him any less of an individual player. That doesn't mean he's not a winner just because he doesn't win the ultimate thing. Chris Paul's one of the biggest winners in the history of basketball. Numbers prove it, but he don't have a championship. He don't have a championship, but he's a winner. Damian Lillard is a winner. You can't tell me Damian Lillard's not a winner. Let me go to these standings really quick. Think about everything the Portland Trailblazers have gone through this season.
I mean, they made the playoffs
11
for
games
very
over 500.
yeah.
11 games over 500, bro. In the Eastern Conference, bro, a lot of teams are struggling to hit that 500 mark, and they are 11 games over. And that's missing CJ. That's missing Nurkic. That's missing this player and that player. He's a winner.
Yeah, and they've been making the playoffs consistently.
In some eyes, he may not be. I don't know what this video turned into. We don't talk about anything current, but those are
All right, man.
on my mind at the moment. Let me know what you think.
Nice. We got the video. We got to do the video, man. I gotta charge this PC, guys. Dying on me, feel me. But if you like the video, make sure you leave a like. You know what I'm saying? Comment, subscribe to the second channel, do all that. And I'm out, you know what I'm saying? Hey.